Well, we know it's going to be fun because you have a name for it.
No, it doesn't have a name.
You do. It's a summer bucket list. That's a name.
No, not that. This is
okay.
a different story. I'm derailing entirely. Follow me, Tori.
I'm here.
Raising a well-behaved child in this world requires strict discipline and punishment. Today, we will look...
No, we will not.
Hello and welcome to Childproof. I'm Gwenna Lakeland.
And I'm Tori Phantom. And today we are talking about summertime sadness.
I got the summertime
Not that
sadness.
type of summertime sadness, but close.
There's 104 days of summer vacation and school.
There it is. Yep. Start the timer. So, Gwenna, where's your shirt?
Okay, so what happened was, a little later in this episode, you're going to see a commercial that I worked really hard on filming. Okay?
Yeah, I believe you.
And in that commercial, I'm wearing our childproof merch, available with the link down in the show description. And it says trauma buttons, and I made the
I am wearing it. If you're watching us on video, I am wearing it. Gwenna has it in another color.
I do. I have it in blue. But what happened was, after I took that shirt off, I put it away, not down. I put it in the hamper, even though I had only worn it for like 10 minutes. But like, I took the shirt off and I put it in the hamper. And here's the thing about hamper clothes. Once it hits the hamper, it's filthy. It's unwearable.
Yes, I agree.
I have if it hits the floor, I might be able to like shake it out and put it back on. But if it's in the hamper, ruined until it goes through the wash.
Right. No, I have a pile of slightly neatly heaped clothes in my bathroom that are the rewearable before wash. And that is separate from the hamper because
I will wear my cardigans innumerable times before I finally wash them. But the shirt that I only wore for 10 minutes might have, and I couldn't even confirm, might have touched a pair of panties I wore 2 days ago. Nope, it's ruined. It's gone. I can't put it back on until I run the wash.
You have that like slightly crusty hoodie that hasn't been washed in 2 months, and you're like, yeah, I'll put this back on. But that t-shirt hits the hamper. No,
I
can't do it. Yeah, like
so. Anyway, that's where my merch is. It's in the hamper awaiting laundry day.
Someone probably spilled something and wiped it up with a towel, and I haven't washed it yet. And there's some mildew probably.
Yeah, no,
no, I can't. Yeah, I get it.
No, it doesn't exist until it runs through the wash, and then it's all fresh and new, and then it's fine. But yeah, if it hits the hamper, if it hits the floor, great. Bed, great. Laundry pile of doom in the chair, great. Hamper.
Okay, so speaking of other things that you've messed up recently.
I thought you would read it. I don't know.
So as you all know, or at least we have said a few times, so you might not know that. We don't listen to everything we say either.
We talk a lot, y'all.
We talk so much. So we record our episodes a week in advance, okay? And so while we are recording this right now, the previous episode just came out today.
Right.
And so I do this thing every time that we put out an episode where when I'm getting ready in the morning, I will just let our episode play just to make sure I didn't mess anything up too badly, right? It's like background. And so this morning I go on our YouTube, which you should go subscribe to, by the way.
Yes, please.
And I looked at the comments quickly, right? And I see this comment that said, guys, your email is wrong in the description. So I can tell who wrote it. And
I wrote the description for that show.
Behind the scenes here, I do all the editing and posting and all of that. But I tasked Gwenna with, she makes the thumbnails that we have, and
that
she
you can
writes,
only see on YouTube. If you're not watching us on YouTube,
there's also the thumbnails on Spotify. You didn't even know that.
So
yeah,
but like if you're listening to us on a podcast provider, you may not see our thumbnails. You might just see our little logo childproof thing.
Yes, and so if you the description is also Gwenna's job, because I am not I can't summarize. That's not a skill that I have.
Listen,
you would just
like
get
my
a
literal
transcript.
job outside being a podcaster is being a writer. It makes sense. The division of labor ends up that I do a lot of the marketing collateral. So I write the descriptions, but the other truth that if you've listened to for whatever reason, my brain has decided that our show email is not worth remembering. childproofmail@gmail.com.
You did it.
I did it.
Wait, I think I have I have an applause button on here.
The badumch worked too.
It worked.
It's like a little trick Gwenna can do.
So the email that was in there was childproofpodcastmail@gmail.com. Now, I usually proofread the descriptions before I post because I have to hyperlink stuff and all of that. But I didn't this time. I didn't reread it because I have had a wild week in my world. So
it's about to get wilder given what we're talking about.
Right. And so I just let it go.
You copy pasted and Gwenna all over that thing.
So thank you to our viewers and listeners for proofreading for us.
Okay, so before we get into the bulk of the episode, and we stop discussing all the things that Gwenna did wrong, so we're going to talk about summertime and getting out of school and sort of surviving that. The first thing I want to point out before the comment section devolves, why are you talking about summer already? It's not for another month. Large portions of the country go to school August to May. So as Tori and I are recording this, my kids have 7 days of school left. That's it.
2 weeks. Yeah. So I think 10 days.
Yeah.
And
that's all we have left. So yes, I know some of you aren't getting out till June. And so this feels like a preemptive episode, but our kids are out in 2 weeks. So
yeah. And I am from New York, not the city, Gwenna. And
there's a difference.
I grew up going to school September to June. And so I have sent my kids to school in Kentucky, not Tennessee, Gwenna, for all of their schooling. And I'm still not, it's still strange to me, but I've gotten more used to it.
So if you are in the September to June crowd and this is an early episode, just bookmark it and come back to it in June so you can listen to it when it's fresher on your radar.
Yeah. Or just listen now. That's fine too.
So the question is, as a kid, I looked forward to summertime. Even as an introverted kid, I was not the kid, terrorizing the neighborhood. I was the kid inside my house watching the same movie on repeat, reading books, and doing whatever hyperfixation was the flavor of the summer. Honestly, the fact that I was an adult before they diagnosed the ADHD, really just mind-blowing when you look back.
Yeah. There was no neighborhood for me to terrorize. I grew up on a mountain on a dirt road with 6 houses on it. It wasn't really a neighborhood. But
each of the 6 houses also had 6 cars. I about said the V word, but you make fun of me for it.
Vehicle. I did it for you. No, it was my dad had enough of the cars for all of the houses. Yeah. We had a pet.
I say that respectfully.
We had a pet goat. Okay. So I looked forward to summer for the same reasons. It was, I get to sit and play my games and read my books and go and, play in the woods because that's just what I did.
Yeah.
And I think times have changed a lot for better and worse.
I think it's a little bit of both because now as an adult, I don't look forward to summertime. Summertime represents this massive upset, not just in my time demands, because all 3 of my children go to public school, which means from about 7:30 to about 3:30, my kids are elsewhere, which gives me the day to do the work that I need to do to continue paying mortgages.
It's more complicated now that I'm a work from home parent. Yeah.
Yeah. But sometimes I wonder, does summertime actually suck more, or is this just
adulthood?
Our parents felt this way?
Yeah.
Because, and we just didn't notice because we were kids. It wasn't our job to notice.
I think it's also different because the standards are different. And we take care of our kids. That's the end of the sentence.
Okay, hit the button.
Trauma dump.
But not just like in the way that my
For
childhood
the record,
was.
my mom took care of me.
No,
Tori's
that's-
childhood experience was different.
I can't speak for everyone, but I know I speak for a lot of you. Mhm.
Yeah, no, that's true. That's fair.
But even though your mom was there for you, I am sure that you were at least part-time latchkey kid.
Oh yeah, no, I was 100. I wasn't a latchkey kid. I was a porch key kid because we couldn't afford latchkey because that cost money. And so I was a porch key kid, which meant I had the key to the house under the porch
I
mat.
grew up
and
on
I
a
would just-
mountain in the middle of nowhere. We didn't even lock the door. But no, that's I think that a big difference that maybe our parents didn't have that same stress is they would just leave us home if there was nowhere for us to go. You know?
Well, and more than once in my own childhood, I'd be dumped in a mall parking lot with $10 in my pocket in a wave saying, I'll
Do
be
you
back in
remember-
3 hours.
Do you remember when $10 could get you 10 or 3 hours worth of things to do?
Right.
Those were the days. Now
$10
that's
would
two
get me
vending
in the
machine
door.
drinks.
That's
Yeah.
Two vending machine drinks.
And
And they come out the mini cans.
yeah. And here's the thing is that I do feel like it's a different experience now leaving your kids home alone. And I think some of that is definitely warranted. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I also feel like there is now this pressure, like you are never to leave a child home alone. And it's like there's some independence that can happen with that. There is, and it's child dependent and
Right.
and there's all these things that go into it. But now one of the things that I do think is better and worse about summers now, camps.
I don't know because again, we grew up so poor. I don't know if camps existed when I was a kid or not.
Same, but I
There
think
might have
this-
been camps. We were just too broke for me to go to.
I do think this like plays into this same thing is that, well, especially for parents who work out of the house, right?
Yeah.
You can't leave your kid home alone all summer. And I mean, you can. I was left home alone all summer, but
Right. I was too. I was too. And here's the thing
camps
is I
are
don't fault my
so
mom for that.
expensive.
Yes.
They're so expensive and they're a week at a time. So it's like $200, $300, and you get like 3 days for 4 hours or something.
Yeah.
And it's so, but they also look so fun. And so I usually try to get my kids one camp a summer just for a fun thing for them to do.
To be clear, when we say they are too expensive, we are not criticizing people who have to price camps. You have overhead, you have staff, you have...
We want the people taking care of our kids
Yes.
paid well.
Yes,
100%.
but it does become a limiting principle in,
Yes.
well, what do you do with your kids? Well, I can afford one camp. Choose carefully, kids.
One kid, one camp. Fight
Yes.
for it.
Right. Page match.
Yeah.
Watch
And
out for the little one. She's scrappy.
There are some affordable camps.
There
of
are.
course, but there's so many. And it's like there's so much more to juggle, I think, in the summer is
Yeah.
really what I'm getting at. Is it's like if you want to do those types of things or if you have to, it's so much more to juggle.
Yeah.
And there's like, it's hard to find a middle ground because you can leave your kids home alone for some times, depending on their
who
ages.
your kids are. Right, right.
And their needs. And then there's also, if you are work from home or if you are in a situation where you do just get to stay at home, you still want to do the things for them. But
Right.
it's-
Well,
yeah.
and the internet, this is the constant, this comes up all the time. The internet has this way of making you feel like if you have not packed your kid's schedule from wake up to lay down, you are doing it wrong. Free time has been demonized and not necessarily wrongly, because free time almost always ends up with a child making an incredibly questionable choice.
Or an incredibly questionable noise.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. So like I understand the desire to not create a lot of free time, but there are tons of scientific
needs
studies on how we don't know how to be bored anymore. And I think we've had whole episodes about being bored. Summertime is a great time to practice being bored.
Yeah.
And there are ways that you can help. I think one of the things that I recognize bites us in the beep the most often is the loss of routine. Because I don't particularly like patterned routines. Do the same thing every day, day in, day out. No, thank you. I don't know. I would rather rot in anywhere but doing the same thing every single day. I can't.
Yeah.
However, our children, especially if they go to school outside of the house, and sometimes even if you are homeschooling them, there is from this time to this time we do maths. From this time to this time we do science. From this time to this time we have recess. So they come out of 9 months of this very structured routine and get dropped into, all right, kids, go be bored outside.
My kids are so sick of me recently because anytime I started saying this like 6 months ago, I'm bored. I am perfectly confident that you are capable of finding something to do.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, but there's nothing to do. You have board games, you have books, you have all of the art supplies one could ever imagine.
Room
We have
full of toys.
outside
You
toys.
specifically asked
Yeah,
for, kid.
I don't want to do any of that. So that's the problem. Yeah.
We have, my kids are so annoyed. In fact, I got the first growl response out of the girl child because in our house, the phrase is boredom is the first step in creativity. And so now it's boredom is the first step. And then they call in response in creativity.
I feel like the last time we talked about boredom, we learned these phrases from each other. And
We
now
did.
Yes.
We did.
Now we're just annoying our kids who are already
We're just
bored.
annoying our kids with stuff
Yeah.
we learned from each other. But I got the first boredom is the first step in creativity. And then stomps off down the hallway. All right, go be creative.
All right, have fun.
It's going to be a destructive creation. I feel that in my
That's
soul
good,
right
though.
now.
You know, art is a great way to get feelings out, kid.
Correct.
But and I'll say too, on the having the packed schedules, like boredom, number one, is important. And also just downtime.
Yeah.
The last couple months, I made the choice to, have my kids busy with things 5 days a week now, between softball and gymnastics, 5 days a week. Okay. And I went to our group chat. I was like, hello, friends who are way busier than me. I don't understand how you function at all with your schedule. How do I feed my kids now that we're 5 nights a week? It's been a learning experience. But we are all exhausted. There's been days where we're like, we could schedule a makeup for that gymnastics class. Like we could just take a day off, because it's not everyone has that same level of go. It's exhausting.
Well, and that's the thing about scheduling predictable activities. This summer, all 3 of my kids are going to be home. And so I laid out a very rough, in the mornings on Mondays, we do this. And it's mostly go play outside because in Oklahoma, it gets exceedingly hot past about noon. So outside time is morning time. Everyone is happier if outside time is morning time. And then we watch a movie at home. Like we'll rent something from Prime every Monday. And then, so yes, we have a schedule. Yes, it's predictable, but it's still, there is always time for free play. When I'm fixing lunch, that is your free play time. Sometimes you will help me fix lunch because it's a lunch that you can help fix. It's an activity that I chose for us. We're building graham cracker house today. Yeah. You're like, come build this. So sometimes there's a scheduled activity, and sometimes that scheduled activity is figure out your own damn activity, kid.
Yeah. That's I will say there's always one thing I look forward to with the summertime.
What's that?
I am a night owl by nature. Okay?
Yes.
I have had my kids, my kids have been in school for so many years now. And I have never fixed my sleep schedule for one single school night. Every single night, this is my routine. Okay. Every single morning I wake up exhausted and I go, tonight I am going to go to bed at a decent time.
But here's what happens. No, I agree. I do the exact same thing. I'm like, I'm going to go to bed. And then here's what pisses me off. About 9:30, I'm like, okay, I'm going to go lay down. And then I do the things and I get ready for bed and I shut everything down the way I need to shut it down so I can go to bed. And then I lay there and I mess around on my phone for an hour and a half, not because of the phone addiction, although that's not helping anything, but because I'm not tired anymore. I was falling asleep at the dinner table.
Yeah. And for me, it's like I treasure the time that I have to myself in a day.
Yeah.
It is like I need that time and it's funny because that's usually when I'm drawing my history cards. So like I need this time to myself to draw old dead
to do
dudes
work
for my
for the
kids'
children.
lunchbox.
Yeah.
But like I sit on my couch covered in rats, drawing on
It's not a
index
euphemism.
cards.
They're really covered in rats.
Yeah, I just bring a whole handful of them out. And several handfuls. I have fat rats. And I put on some documentary and I'm like, yeah, I'll just do this for a little bit. And then it's like 11 o'clock and I'm like, I forgot to set the coffee pot. I forgot to get out the outfits. Oh, I got to do this. And, sometimes I debate the coffee pot, but I would always rather go to bed 5 minutes later than wake up without the coffee.
Correct.
But then it's now like 11:30 and I'm like, all right, okay, I'll lay down. And then I pick up my phone. And then I pick up my phone and then it's like 12:30 and I'm like, tomorrow will be the day. And
Last night,
it isn't.
I was so proud. Last night, so Tori and I are on different time zones. I'm in Central, Tori's in Eastern, and we're aware of the time difference. So at 11:30 my time last night, I went ahead and ventured to text. Now we have an understanding. We use Do Not Disturb. We turn our phones off. I don't even
use Do Not Disturb. My phone just doesn't make a noise or vibrate.
Yeah.
Nothing.
So I know that I wasn't going to be bothering Tori, but because of the way our friendship works out and how we know how the other is, it is not unusual to wake up to see a text from the other person that was sent at like 4 o'clock in the morning because for whatever reason, one of us was up, we had a thought. And if we don't immediately text that to the other person, we will lose that thought
forever.
So last night it was 11:30. I had an idea for the podcast that we're recording right now, and I texted it to them, and I was so proud of them because I didn't get a response until this morning, which meant they were actually in bed at 12:30 their time.
That's because 2 nights ago I got 4 hours of sleep and then had to drive an hour to go to a doctor's appointment for my kid, and then we went to Costco, and then I had to spend 3 hours at the softball field, and I didn't have a choice. Sleep took me. At midnight. So I still didn't go to bed early, but it was closer than usual.
So last night, instead of going to bed, I actually started putting together the bucket list. Do you guys do summer bucket lists?
No, I don't have that type of forethought. I just look forward to finally catching up on sleep because by the end of the school year, I'm so burnt out from getting 5 hours of sleep a night.
And we're going to pause here for a tiny little commercial.
And it's our commercial that we made. So
this is merch. Like it's not it's the quality, and buy this merch from our store that we listed in the bio. Here's a close-up of the shirt. It says trauma buttons, and it's merch, and it's just available. And this is me loading all of the curse words that I can't actually say in the podcast. Okay.
Tell me about your bucket list.
Well, I do need to tell you, it is my, it's not, I'm just going to tell you and I'll let you decide what it is. So,
well, we know it's going to be fun because you have a name for it.
No, it doesn't have a name.
You do. It's a summer bucket list. That's a name.
No, not that. This is
okay.
a different story. I'm derailing entirely. Follow me, Tori.
I'm here. Follow it.
So most recently, we have realized that our children have gained an executive function level that is wonderful because now on Saturdays, and we think we're going to try to extend it to summer mornings as well. On Saturdays, Friday nights, I will set out a shelf-stable breakfast. So breakfast that they can get into themselves, that can sit on the table and not spoil overnight. Mm-hmm. And then they also have access to a refrigerator drawer in which are kept things that they can independently open. The ability to independently open most food products has been revolutionizing. And then what happens is they have to get up, they have to get dressed, they have to brush their teeth, they have to eat their breakfast, and then they can get on tablets.
Ooh.
So we take their tablets and we leave them out there. And they understand that if they fail to do the things in the correct-ish order, if they're not dressed, if they're still in their PJs and playing on their tablets, we don't get to do Saturday morning tablets anymore. if, you know, their toothpaste is still clearly, we did not brush our teeth, no more tablets. But we are pretty sure we are going to do that. Now, my husband and I get up around 7:30 when left to our own devices. So it's not like we're sleeping till noon and letting the children rot on devices for half the day, but we are essentially buying ourselves time.
Now and then I'm like fully awake and still let my kids run the devices half the day.
For sure. That's not the only tablet time they get, but Saturday mornings, they get up, they get to more or less take care of their own needs while mom and dad sleep in just a wee bit. And we think we're going to introduce that this summer where you get up, you do your morning stuff, and then you can play on the tablet until a grown-up gets up.
I have to say, okay, here is a thing that you're missing out on because of your wicked age gap. I think that my kids, the younger two, ended up learning opening the packages sooner because they always have an older sibling right there to help them. Yeah. And so I got that independence of they'll get their snacks way earlier because if I am busy or still like laying in bed, because they'll just come in and out, they'll just ask their sibling. They're just, oh yeah, I'll do this. And so then it's like, I got to unlock that earlier just because, my sister is right here also eating a snack. Will you open this one for me? Cool.
Yeah, they don't eat the same snacks. Actually, they do now. Both my daughters are heavy into Takis, which I'm just like, your stomach linings.
I don't think I've ever had a Taki.
I say they're stomach linings, and I am the one who buys it for them, so it's not that concerning. No, but back to the summer bucket lists. Yeah. We do a summer bucket list that's not like super serious, but it does sort of give, for my kids especially, and this is not universally true, for my kids especially, having pinpoints to look forward to, things to work toward is always a really good motivator. And honestly, sometimes it's a really good motivator because I can threaten to, hey, if we do not straighten up this behavior, we are not going to have the behavior on lock to be able to go do this thing or to be able to have this treat. Or I will absolutely, by creating a bucket list, not only do we have, okay, we've got 2 days before we go to the beach. We've got 3 weeks before we go on our, annual summer, whatever your family does. But then we also have if we do not figure out this particular problem, we may not be able to go to this,
Yeah. And I mean, I don't have like a specific bucket list, but we do have like ideas of things. And this year is a little trickier because, we went to the Great Wolf Lodge for the last few years. Right. And the last time we went, it wasn't as magical, and it had nothing to do with the resort.
The Great Wolf. Yeah.
It was,
there's a very specific
times.
age range to Great Wolf Lodge.
Yes. And my eldest was like over it. Yeah. And I mean, we still love the water park, but it was like, I think if we go again, it's going to be kind of meh. It's not going to be the fun. And so now I'm like, okay, well, so I decided not to do that, and I haven't decided what to do. Yeah. And so I'm like sitting here. You're gonna be so surprised. I'm sitting here like, how long a drive is it to Yorktown or Mount Vernon?
This is 0% surprising, honestly.
Anyway, they're too long of a drive for me to want to do, but. I that's the thing that I'm like still considering, and we're 2 weeks from summer. But the things that I have that are our bucket list is literally like what you were previously talking about, your routine you've already established. That's my bucket list, is to have a routine by the end of the summer. But I have ideas for it, right? Because we have a free lunch program here in our region, and we like going. And so that turns into okay, on this day, because it's the same lunch schedule every week for the summer. This is the day we really like the lunch. So we'll go to the lunch, and now we can go to the library after. Yeah. I have a library card again. Yeah. Which is very exciting. I did return the books, the first books that we checked out. Those did get returned late. But not 4 years late. And I think that's important. So that will probably be something that we work out. And then personally, I really want to have a garden this year. And so I've had my starter plants going they probably needed to be transplanted by now, but I haven't dug up the plot yet. So we'll see.
We'll see what happens.
We'll see.
I do know that this year in school, my kids had the opportunity to do a couple different things. They grew sunflowers from seeds. And it worked really, really well because my children have 2 different teachers, and those 2 teachers are also partnered teachers, which means the classes, it just so happens that my kids are in classes that are often combined for things. So I've got one teacher of one of my children who is an avid gardener and helped them grow big, like face-size sunflowers.
Yeah.
Like, this is shocking information to them. And she helped them grow those. And so they got to do that. And much to my chagrin, one of my children's teachers is a chicken farmer. Like, she's a teacher and she's a chicken lady.
Yeah.
So
yeah, we have those here too, because we both live in.
We both live in the sticks. So this year, she brought the teacher brought an incubator set up and several fertilized eggs, and the children got to watch the incubation and the hatching process. And they got
and you get to
hold
candle the eggs and stuff.
Yes,
so you can see the embryos.
they got to do the whole thing, and they talked all about it. So I've been hearing all about it, and now my daughter is not at all helping my desire to get chickens, because she also now
You should
wants
get chickens. Everyone who's listening, email us childproofmail@gmail.com and tell Gwenna that she should in fact get chickens.
No, we don't have.
She has the
facilities for
room.
chickens.
She's got the room.
I do. I have land, but I don't.
That's
have
why
the
she's thinking
facilities.
about it. So let's convince Gwenna. Then we could have chicken content, guys.
Listen,
Imagine Gwenna with a chicken. I'm imagining
I already
it.
have a
It
goose.
sounds
all right?
lovely.
Actually, I think there's goose. I think a pair of mated gooses nested in my neighbor's yard, which we are actually not happy
Real
about.
geese or
Real
porch
geese.
geese?
Real geese.
Oh, fun.
I'm pretty sure a mated pair of Canada geese have decided that their nest is in the neighbor's yard right next to our
Geese are
driveway.
terrifying.
I'm so upset about it, especially here. They're a protected species, so once they nest, we can't mess with them. Like, we can't. Like, oh no, I'm never gonna leave my house until these geese
so
hatch these
frightening.
friggin' gooselings,
they're-
goslings. Anyway, wild derailment.
Shocking for us. Yeah.
This year, we are. So my son is an acknowledged picky eater, and he has decided. This is one of those things where we talk about responsive parenting really working. We have had a touch, lick, sniff policy. I'm going to put it on your plate. You don't have to do anything with it, but I am going to put this piece of broccoli on your plate. Do you want to touch the broccoli today? No touching? Okay, cool. Oh, we're going to touch it today? You want to sniff it? And then it just, after sniffing comes the licking. After licking comes the chewing. And you can spit it back out. After chewing comes the swallowing.
My kid took a bite of a burrito the other day, and I just now remembered to tell you that. You know the one. The burrito. Yeah.
Like in pieces? Like a little bit of the
just
fillet?
here's the burrito. Just bite of burrito.
Look, if you don't have picky eater kids, especially special needs picky eater kids, you don't realize how big it is that like all the ingredients were touching and she put it in her mouth.
Yeah, that was her first time ever eating beef.
Nice. Did she swallow it?
No.
Okay.
No, the first bite she did. And then I encouraged her to try a second bite because I reminded her I said, this is nothing like anything you've eaten before. So it makes sense that it tastes weird to you because this is a totally different flavor profile, but give yourself a chance. And so, but two bites.
Nice.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Continue.
My son has decided that he doesn't like as many foods as his sister. And I'm trying very carefully to prevent a comparison thing from happening because his sister is a very adventurous eater. His little sister. His older sister is as picky as he is. So we
Also,
have 2 picky eaters.
Really, really quick, everyone listening, when Gwenna and I say picky eater, we are not saying that with a negative connotation.
No.
We've done several episodes where we've talked about this. So you could probably find them, or we could just tell you that we don't mean it in a negative way. It's just, particular tastes.
Particular tastes, particular needs, and we're trying to help him find ways. One of the constant dialogues is, I believe you. It's fine that you don't like it. Can you tell me what's wrong with it?
Yeah. What don't you like?
What don't you like about it? I am going to believe you, but I do have to, it feels wrong. Okay. Can you explore that deeper? So we've been walking that, but this year, while we were talking about our summer bucket list, he goes, I want to try food. What? I want to try food. Are you talking about you want to try new foods? Yeah. You want to try new foods this summer? Yeah. Okay. How about we set a number goal? 100 million thousand. Maybe we pick a real number. Let's do
Maybe
10.
like dial it back a little.
Yeah. Over the course of the 9-week summer, let's try 10 new foods. And then I got to walk him through, what does try mean? Are we talking just lick? Or are we talking trying a bite, swallowing, seeing how it goes?
I don't require the swallow, the try it bite personally.
I don't require the swallow, but I do want to frame what officially counts as is it trying it if you put it in your mouth and spit it out? I say it would. But if he says
I think it depends.
I do
yeah.
too.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying for our listeners, I know that we're usually on the same page, but I think it depends specifically because, and this is, I talk to my kids about open mind. We have to go in with an open mind because if you're expecting to hate it, you're going to hate it.
Right.
So for me, it's if you just put it in your mouth to spit it out, to say you tried it, that's not trying it.
Right.
You got to taste it.
Right. Well, and the other thing he wanted to do is he goes, Mom, I'm going to need a blindfold. What do you mean? He goes, I eat with my eyes. And that's something that we have discussed a lot. He does not like peas. And for about 6 months, if it was green, he was like, it's a pea. No, buddy, that's a pepper. That's a completely different thing than I know why you don't like peas. You don't like that they pop and you don't like how they feel once they pop in your mouth.
I'm with your
understand
kid.
Peas.
Yeah.
But not all green things are peas. And logically, he knows that. But if it was in the food, he decided it was peas. So we decided one time, buddy, do you trust us? Yes. Am I going to make you eat anything that you don't like, that I know you don't like? Yes. So I put a blindfold on him and I gave him a bite of Philly cheesesteak casserole stuff, and it had a little bit of green pepper. He goes, that was really good. Okay, now I want you to take a look at what you ate. There's peas. There's not peas. You remember I promised I would not give you anything that I know you didn't like? Those are peppers, buddy. You just had it in your mouth and you liked it. Oh, I like peppers. Right. And those are green.
Yes, yes. So, but what did you decide on for the qualification for try it?
So trying,
I only cut you off 6 times. So.
Trying for him has got to be, you put it in your mouth, you chew it if it's necessary, and you have to try to swallow it. But if you gag, then you can spit it out. I was like, all right, these feel like harsh qualifications.
Yeah, maybe we can move the goalpost a little once we've started.
Right. So I think we settled at you have to put it in your mouth for longer than a heartbeat.
I like that. That's so oddly
you have to
specific.
put it in your mouth for longer than a heartbeat, which is long enough for your brain to recognize all of the sensations that you're getting, what it feels like, what it tastes like, what it smells like, because sometimes it smells different when it's in your mouth than when it's outside of your mouth. So you got to keep it in your mouth for a heartbeat. If you want to swallow it, great. If you decide after that heartbeat that you don't like it, spit it out. But it did, in fact, count as a try.
Yeah. That's if my kids are really afraid to try something, but they want to, I'm like, try it standing over the trash can. What are you afraid of? What is the worst thing that's going to happen? It's not going to bite you back. But you look like you were going to say something.
No, I was considering getting a drink.
Oh.
I was just eyeballing my drink over there. I got really excited.
This entire conversation, actually, I recently, very recently, as of yesterday, have this new plan that is now going to be a summertime plan because it's now on my bucket list. Because I mentioned that I went to Costco with my kid. Yeah. Right? Now, my kids don't usually come with me to Costco because Costco is 45 minutes away. And I usually go after I have a doctor's appointment or a different reason to be in the city.
Right.
But this kiddo had a doctor's appointment and I needed to go to Costco. So I brought my kid with me. And I was like, no, Costco is great because there's all the samples. And she was like, I don't know. It seems like it would be boring. And then we walk into Costco and of course she's like, oh, this place is cool. And I'm like, I know it's Costco. So we start going, right? And this is my kid who does not try things, does just so rigid in what she eats. This kid tried 5 samples.
Wow.
Without consideration, yep. And she's like, this is cool to do samples. And I said to her, I was like, what if I served you the dinner I made in a Costco sample station situation? Like, what if I took, the entree, now it's samples in one part of the house. And the side dishes are different sample stations. And she laughed and she was like, no, wait.
Wait.
That sounds like it could be fun. And I was like, noted. I will figure out how to make sample stations for dinner because I feel like it could work.
You have to have the paper cups.
I know.
It's all about the little paper cups.
Yeah. The paper cups with the little trash can next to it.
I'll send you some.
Okay. No. Actually, no. Don't send. I got it. I can handle it. I'll get the
this
paper
year,
cups.
we're super excited because in that text that I late night sent to Tori last night was a request that I am so excited to see how this works out. Our children, their youngest and my youngest, are roughly the same age. And this year, all three of those younger children have gotten to the point that they can independently construct sentences, write them, and read them, which is a thing that we have not had before. Tori's has been able to read for a little bit. Mine just got reading onboarded this year. So this year, our three youngest children are going to be pen pals.
Yes. I read that text and I literally did a little dance. I was like, this sounds so fun.
This sounds so fun.
So I brought it up to my kids. I even brought it up to my middleist.
Yeah.
Because, she's only a couple years older. Mm-hmm. And she was like, I don't know. And I was like, I think it would be fun, right? And my youngest, though, was like, oh, yes, so excited. And she's like, and I could work on my spelling because my kids are nerds. And I say that in a really loving way because same.
My girl child, both of them are very excited because I brought it up this morning. Both of them are very excited. But my girl child was like, oh, I can draw her pictures with glitter. Yes, because she's got these glitter pens. Yep. Yeah. You can draw pictures with glitter, and I'm sure you will get pictures back. Mm-hmm. But because we are friends, the parents of the pen pallers, it means that we have that extra level of, hey, did you put the letter in the mailbox? Mm-hmm. We have that extra layer of reminding each other, okay, my kids just sent a pen pal.
Let's be so for real. It's just going to be you reminding me. Come on.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah. But
I also think I'm going to do you remember when we were kids, we had the Book It Awards? I'm pretty sure I'm going to make a home Book It Award. And if they read X number of books, and I have to decide what that X is, but if they read X number of books by the end of summer, we will take them to their favorite pizza place, and no limitations. Hog wild on what you want for the toppings.
That's my kids' school, they do summer packets. And they're optional. So you can sign up to get one sent home for your kid for whatever grade they're going into. Mm-hmm. And if they hand in the completed packet at the beginning of the next school year, they get a prize. And last year we got the packets and then we did not do them. But this year I want to encourage my kids to complete them because prizes are fun. And my kids' school, they have a book vending machine. A book vending machine.
I love it. Do they earn basically pieces of tokens throughout the year to be able to get books out of the vending machine?
They have so many cool prize structures at their school for all these different achievements that they get. So both of my kids have already got a token and brought home a book from the vending machine. It's the coolest thing I've ever seen.
So cool. Our timer is about to go off. I know this, but here's what I want to do is because I'm looking at the rest of what we wrote down. We didn't get to all of it. So I'm not going to promise a part 2 immediately. I'm going to promise a part 2 closer to when the second half of you release for summer. We're going to do an episode dedicated to summer bucket list items. So I want you to email us childproofmail@gmail.com.
You did it again.
I did it again. childproofmail@gmail.com.
Oh, there's our timer, but keep going. Keep going. We're going to finish what we're asking.
Email us at childproofmail@gmail.com what your top bucket list items are for the summer. What are the things you are most looking forward to doing? What are the things, do you go to a snow cone every single Friday? Is it splash pad? Is it finishing a giant puzzle? Whatever it is, we want you to email it, and sometime later this this month or early in June, once everyone is officially on summer break, we will do a master summer bucket list idea episode where we just go through all of the ideas that we can think of, plus all the ones you have emailed us at childproofmail@gmail.com.
3 times.
And we'll just go through. So if we have an idea that you hadn't thought of, maybe you can add it to your own summer bucket list. So email us and we'll have that episode in a few weeks.
And thank you for listening to Childproof. Be sure to give us a like, subscribe on YouTube and or Spotify and or anywhere else you are listening to us, and turn on notifications at YouTube.
Be sure to still leave us a rating if you haven't already done that in all the places. If the platform that you consume our podcast on allows you to leave a rating, please do that. It really helps with getting
And if
our
you're on
podcast
YouTube,
into
just
more
hit
people.
the thumbs up button.
Yeah.
Thumbs up, but not in the passive aggressive way that you would text a thumbs up, just like
Right.
the thumbs
Just
up
click
button.
the
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. And be sure to check out my Founding Father series on YouTube. The second episode will come out eventually. And grab Gwenna's new book, The Soul's Guide to the After Death, which is available. You can get the ebook, you could get the audiobook. It's very great. And both are linked in our show description.
And remember, sometimes our kids are the assholes.
And sometimes it's us.
It is always that it's 177
It's just, I
degrees
just
outside
don't
in the
want to go
summer.
outside in the
I
summertime.
don't want it so hot.